All right, everybody. So what we're going to be covering today is we're going to be starting in Chapter 4. This is from Chapter 4, and it's trigonomic functions. It's going to be kind of strange in the beginning because you've never seen anything like this. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you the basic introduction to 3 different buttons on your calculator. The first one is called sine, and it's abbreviated as sin on your calculator. The next one is cosine, and it's abbreviated as cos on your calculator. And the last one is tangent, and it's abbreviated as tan on your calculator. So on your calculator, if you can't find these 3 buttons, there's I'm going to be showing you how to calculate these in a little bit. But these 3 buttons, if you have a basic mathematical calculator, you'll see them. I think you have to press second, and you'll see it. It's right above, I think, the 8 and 9 or somewhere around there. If you have a graphing calculator, you're going to have to press math. This is a graphing calculator. And then you're going to have to press, gosh, where is it? I haven't done a graphing calculator in so long. Math and, no, actually, I'm sorry. If you have a graphing calculator, you should see it on your calculator in the very front. It should be sine, cosine, and tangent. It should be these 3 buttons. If you have a calculator, it's like TI- something, and it displays all the words on your screen. I think it's above the 8 or the 9. If you're using your phone, take your phone and turn it sideways, and then your calculator should say sine, cosine, and tangent. If you don't know where it is exactly, Google what kind of calculator you have. I think I covered the 4 basic calculators. But I'm going to be explaining what these are in a second. But before I do that, if you look on the notes, I give you a triangle. And I label this triangle A. It's a right triangle, B, and C. This sine, cosine, and tangent, these basic trigonomic concepts can only work with right triangles. And let's say this side is 3, this side is 4, and this side is 5. So I'm going to be using these 3 sides to illustrate how to understand sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so first off, let's go from angle A. There's 3 different sides. There is the opposite side, adjacent side, and hypotenuse. Opposite is across. Adjacent means next to. Hypotenuse is always this side across from the 90-degree angle. I know you guys are probably saying, what the heck is he even talking about? You'll see what I mean in a second. So on the example, I say, okay, let's take from angle A. From angle A, what's my opposite side from angle A? So from this angle, is my opposite side 3, 4, or 5? Opposite is the side across, the side that doesn't touch that angle, the side that's opposite that angle. So from angle A, my opposite side is 4. Adjacent means next to, but next to is never your hypotenuse. It's the other shorter leg. So from angle A, there's 2 sides that are adjacent to, means next to. Side 5 and 3 from angle A. 5 is always my hypotenuse. The side that's adjacent from angle A is 3. That's the side that touches it. So from angle A, these are my sides. This will all make sense in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to identify. Now let's take your angle C. The second part on your notes, it says from angle C. Okay, now from angle C, from this angle, what's my hypotenuse? From this angle, well, my hypotenuse is 5. My 5 never changes. What's my adjacent side? From angle C, my adjacent side is 4. That's the side that touches that angle. And my opposite side from angle C is the side across from this angle, which is 3. Okay, so what I just did is I just identified from angle A what's my opposite side, what's my adjacent side, and what's my hypotenuse. From angle C, I did the same thing. What's my opposite side, what's my adjacent side, what's my hypotenuse. Kind of like a chart. Look, from angle A and C, your opposite side from angle A is 4, your opposite side from angle C is 3. Notice what changes and what stays the same. Your hypotenuse stays the same no matter what angle you're talking about. Your opposite side and adjacent side flip depending on what angle you're talking about. So with that said, your opposite side and adjacent side always change depending on what angle you're talking about. And the two angles that we're going to be discussing is not your right angle. For this course, I will not be discussing about your right angle when we're talking about basic trig functions. It's always going to be from angle A or angle C, from these two angles. Okay, the next thing I say is this. SOH, CAH, and TOA. And abbreviated, that's SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. I know it sounds really weird, but this is how math teachers teach this concept all throughout our country or wherever else. SOHCAHTOA. What I do on the next line, you have to remember that. So every single assignment for this chapter, you're going to do this. Always write down SOHCAHTOA. 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 Always write that down because go down to the next line on your notes that you have in front of you. The next line, it says so, S represents sine, equals O is opposite, H is hypotenuse, equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of an angle. Cosine, C is cosine. Sine, cosine, and tangent. This is an easy way to remember this. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Now for this lesson, all I'm going to be showing you is how to set up a basic trigonomic fraction. And that's it. And the way it's going to be asked is this. What is sine of angle A? What is cosine of angle A? What is tangent of angle A? And all you're going to do is this. Whatever angle they're talking about, circle that. Sine is opposite side over hypotenuse. So from angle A, my opposite side is 4. My hypotenuse is 5. So the answer, sine of angle A is 4/5. You're going to be doing stuff with this later on, but just for this lesson, all I'm going to teach you how to do is write this as a fraction. That's it. Cosine of angle A. Cosine of angle A is adjacent, which is 3, over hypotenuse, which is 5. And then see if you can figure out tangent of angle A. See if you can figure out the trigonomic ratio for tangent. Pause the video, see if you can do it. Okay, now that you paused the video, let's see if you got it. Tangent of angle A. Tangent is opposite, so from angle A, my opposite side is 4. My adjacent side from angle A is 3. This is across, and this is the side adjacent to angle A. Okay. Now, look on the next box below. It says, these are just fractions. This is what I'm going to be teaching you just for this lesson. Write these as fractions. The next thing I'm going to have you do is calculate this. calculate, actually, yeah, well, let's see if you can calculate sine of angle A. So sine of angle A, on your calculator, you're going to do this. You're going to press, you have to, this is what's hard. This is the part that sucks about teaching online, is because normally I would go and say, I would ask, okay, raise your hand. I would do this calculation on my calculator, and I would say, all right, who got this answer? And I would state the answer, and anybody that didn't, I would go around and look at your calculator, see what you did wrong. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So this part of teaching online sucks, because I can't walk you through how to plug it in, because everybody has different calculators. But what your calculator has to have, you have to be in, your screen has to say degrees. It cannot, on your screen, say radians. Now, most of you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, which for Math 2, you've never been introduced to what a radian is. If you have a graphing calculator, you're going to have to press mode, go down and make sure degrees is highlighted. If radians is highlighted, press to the right over one and then highlight degrees if you have a graphing calculator. If you have any other kind of calculator, your screen needs to say DEG on it. It cannot be set in radians. If it's set in radians, you're going to have a very difficult time until you turn into degrees, because degrees is what it needs to be set in. So, if I were to ask you on your assignment, what is sine, cosine, tangent of angle A? You would just list these fractions. Now, if I were to ask you to calculate this fraction, on your graphing calculator, if you have a graphing calculator and it's set in degrees, you're going to press the sine button, 4 divided by 5, and press equals, and it's going to spit you out a decimal, which is the answer. If you're using your phone, or if you're using a basic calculator that when you punch the numbers in, it doesn't say each number as you punch it in, you have to go backwards. What you have to do on your calculator is do this. 4 divided by 5 and press equals, and then press the sine button. If you have like a TI dash blah blah blah, meaning one of those calculators that when you punch a number in, it displays every single number as you punch it in, all you have to do is press sine 4 divided by 5 and then press equals. So I have a feeling today on Zoom, I'm going to be asking you guys what kind of calculators you have and helping you guys understand how to calculate. But if this all made sense, then you're good. Okay, what I'm going to have you guys do now is this. I am going to have you draw that next calculator. Not next calculator, sorry. Actually, here, I'm going to give you a triangle to do. Don't worry about the triangle that I give you in the notes. Do this triangle. So this is going to be X, Y, Z. And I'm going to ask you guys, what is, just write this as a fraction. What is sine of angle Z, cosine of angle A, and tangent of angle Z? So see if you can do this. Pause the video and see if you can do this. Okay. Now that you should have paused it and seen if you could have done it, let's see if I can write out just the fraction. That's all I want. So sine from angle Z. Sine of this angle, sine of any angle is from the angle, it's your opposite side over your hypotenuse. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, 6 over 10. Now, you can reduce that to 3/5 or leave it at 6 over 10. I don't care. As long as you understand that this is reduced to 3/5, you can leave it. It doesn't matter to me. All right, cosine of angle A. cosine. Cosine of any angle is its adjacent side over its hypotenuse. So from, I'm sorry. Not from angle A. Sorry, angle X. Not A. There is no angle A. Sorry for the confusion. For angle X. So cosine of X is adjacent, which is 6, over, what's my hypotenuse? 10. Some people might say, wait. Both of these are the same answers. Yes, exactly. Sine from angle Z is opposite, which is the adjacent side for X. And they're both over the hypotenuse. That's why they're both over 10. If I lost you on that, don't worry about it, as long as you can find each individual fraction. And then lastly, what is tangent of angle Z? Tangent of any angle is its opposite side over its adjacent side. So tangent from angle Z is its opposite side over its adjacent side. And you can reduce that to get 3/4 or leave it like that. I don't care. Okay. This is what I'm going to be asking you to do. But then I'm going to ask you to do one more kind of thing. You're going to have a worksheet that's attached to these notes. But on the worksheet, what it's going to do, it's going to ask you, let's do this. Let me do one for you. It's going to ask you to find the exact value on a couple of the questions. Meaning it wants you to take the trig function of whatever fraction you get. So let's do this. Let's say A, B, C. And this side is 12. This side is 35. And this side is 37. And then the question is this. From angle C, which is this angle right here, what is the tangent angle of angle C? But what I want you to do is I want you to round it to the nearest, let's say, hundredth. Round this answer to the nearest hundredth. So if you understand what I'm asking, see, you can try it. If you guys are like, what the heck does he even mean? Well, what that means is this. Once you find the fraction for tangent, which is opposite over adjacent, then I want you to plug that in your calculator and see if you get the correct answer. That's what it's asking. So, tangent of angle C. Tangent is, remember, so, ka, toa. Here's tangent right here. Tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Toa. That's what O and the A is. That's why you should always write down SOHCAHTOA. So from angle C, my opposite side is the side across, which is 12, over my adjacent side. Is my adjacent side 35 or 37? You should understand it's 35 because even though 37 touches that angle, 37 is always your hypotenuse. So it's opposite from angle C, because it's asking what's the tangent, what's the opposite over adjacent from angle C? 12 over, over 35. Now, what they want you to do is plug this in your calculator and round to the nearest tenth. So what you're going to do is if you have a graphing calculator, or if you have a calculator that displays all of the numbers individually as you press them in, you're just going to press tangent 12 divided by 35, press equals. If you're using your phone, or if you're using a basic mathematical calculator, you have to do everything backwards. You have to go 12 divided by 35, press equals, and then press the tangent button. However you do it, you should get 0.34 rounded. That's what it should be. If you just did what I asked you to do, and you're like, wait, I got some weird number. It doesn't even look like that. The reason why is because your calculator is not in degrees. It needs to be in degrees, not radians. So Once again, if you have a graphing calculator, what you're going to do is you're going to press, I believe it is mode, and then go down to, it's either the math button and then you go down, or it's the mode button and then you go down and look to make sure degrees is highlighted and not radians. If radians is highlighted, move it over 1 to degree. If you have your phone, you need to make sure your screen is in degrees. Make sure if you have whatever other kind of calculator you have, make sure it is in degrees. Because if it is in radians, if you do this calculation and it's in this mode, RAD, you're going to get a completely different answer. And the answer that you want is 0.34. Okay, so that was the basic introduction to trig. I'm going to be on Zoom if you guys have any questions in a little bit, which you guys probably will, because when you plug stuff in your calculator, you might not get the right answer because I have to show you how to turn your calculator into degrees and not radians. Okay, thanks guys.